It's disturbing news. A local substitute teacher arrested for multiple sex charges against a child. Good evening. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Nazi Javid.
And I'm Karen Bright. According to EPD, this is the substitute teacher who's now behind bars. Officers say with help from the DA's office, they arrested 42-year-old Chad Smith on 9 counts of lewd acts on a child. His bail was set at almost $2.7 million. Officers say they aren't releasing any information about the victim for the sake of privacy.
Now, we did do some digging for you. According to EPD, Smith worked as a part-time substitute teacher in Eureka and Fortuna at several public elementary and middle schools. According to Smith's Facebook page, he took pictures of himself at the schools, claiming to be working at Washington Elementary, Alice Burney Elementary, Toddy Thomas Middle School, and Zane Middle School. Of course, we'll be following this investigation as it continues. New at 11 tonight, a man arrested with drugs and ledgers.
Agents with the Humboldt County Drug Task Force tell us they served a search warrant at 10 Friday morning at an apartment on the 2200 block of Ronerville Road in Fortuna. Agents say they arrested this man, 24-year-old Omar Miranda, for possession of a controlled substance for sale and possession of a narcotic for sale.
Agents say these are the drugs they found in Miranda's apartment. An ounce of suspected heroin and 3 grams of suspected meth. Agents adding they expect future arrests in connection to this investigation.
Officers in southern Humboldt County are looking for a man who they say is armed and dangerous.
According to the CHP, they responded to a reported vehicle theft on the 17,000 block of Alder Point Road in Alder Point. This was around 6 yesterday morning. According to officers, a 2017 tan Toyota Tacoma was stolen by a man who's described as white, skinny, 20 to 30 years old, 6'1" to 6'2", with tattoos up his neck and possibly on his face. The CHP says the man was also seen with a silver revolver.
About 3.5 hours later, officers say they found the stolen Toyota Tacoma parked behind the county road building on Bushnell Road in Garberville. Officers say the suspect, who's still at large, is considered armed and dangerous and may be suffering from delusions.
In Mendocino County, a near-deadly stabbing happening outside a bar in Ukiah.
Deputies say they responded to the 6100 block of North State Street to the report of a man with multiple stab wounds at about 6:15 in the evening last Tuesday. Once on scene, deputies say they found a 59-year-old man who had been stabbed in the abdomen several times.
Deputies say this man, 34-year-old Jeremiah Luna, was asked to leave the bar after arriving earlier Saturday evening. According to deputies, the victim was asked to leave shortly thereafter. That's when they started fighting each other, and Luna allegedly stabbed the man numerous times. Deputies say Luna was arrested for attempted murder. The victim was taken to an out-of-area hospital and is expected to survive.
And another alleged stabbing out of Mendocino County, deputies saying this time the weapon used was trimming scissors.
According to the sheriff's office, at around 8:15 on Friday night, they responded to the 19,000 block of South Main Street in Willits to a reported domestic disturbance. Once on scene, deputies tell us they found an intoxicated man.
Deputies say they learned that the man confronted this woman, 60-year-old Gloria Kane, about missing money. Deputies tell us the argument escalated into violence and that at some point, Kane stabbed the man in the abdomen with trimming scissors. Kane was found and arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, among other charges.
Well, it's the second time in the past 6 months that a fire erupts in the same building.
The fire burning over the weekend being investigated as arson, according to the Humboldt Bay Fire Chief. At around 4 in the morning on Saturday, Humboldt Bay fire crews responding to a commercial structure fire on West Waterfront Drive.
This after they tell us an EPD officer saw the fire while on patrol in the Old Town area. Crews say because of the building's deteriorated condition from the first fire, crews just tried to keep the fire from spreading to nearby buildings. The fire was under control in about 3 hours, almost completely destroying the vacant building. Tonight, it's under investigation. Now, as for the first fire to take off in this building, that happened early Saturday morning on December 31st. It started just after midnight, burning all the way into the afternoon. We talked to the fire chief, who told us he believes transient activity to be involved in the cause, but that it doesn't appear to be set on purpose.
New tonight, firefighters responding to yet another fire along the Eureka waterfront. Firefighters say it happened around 5:40 this evening on T and Waterfront streets. Fire crews say it started off as a 30 by 30 foot fire.
Unknown really what the cause is most likely human cause, but we don't know for sure. Don't know if it's a campsite or if it's malicious or anything like that. So.
Officials say no one was hurt and that the cause of the fire is currently under investigation.
Also in Eureka, a woman taken to the hospital after a crash on Broadway. The EPD says it happened at around 5 this evening when a green truck approaching traffic didn't brake, slamming into a white truck. Police say 2 people had minor injuries, but traffic was backed up for almost an hour. Officers tell us neither drugs or alcohol are factors.
And now to a story we've been following very closely. It's been nearly 2 months since Humboldt State University student David Josiah Lawson was tragically murdered.
Tonight, we're hearing from the 19-year-old for the first time in his own words during a scholarship awards ceremony. Josiah shares his outlook on life and talks about what it means to be a man of integrity.
My name is David Lawson, and I will be attending Humboldt State University in the fall, and I'll be majoring in criminal justice. The word man has been thrown around quite often in today's society. You're not a man because how strong you are. You're not a man because you're the best athlete in your school or have the flashiest clothes. Being a man of the 21st century is about the character of your heart. Being a man of the 21st century isn't about the quantity of one's life, but the quality of how you treat others in your life. Thank you.
That was Josiah Lawson speaking just before he came to HSU for college. There are still no answers on who committed the heinous crime against him.
Here's North Coast News' Max Rodriguez with the latest.
Karen Nazi, Arcata police say they've been working diligently on this case, but the killer is still on the loose. Today, I spoke with Josiah's mom and their family attorney, and here's her take on the investigation.
I'm frustrated. I don't think we've gotten any further than we did the day of my son's murder.
Charmaine Lawson seeking answers after the loss of her son, Josiah, wondering why there is no one in custody for her son's murder.
He was charged and was released. I think that was a mistake.
Investigators say Josiah was stabbed to death at a college party in April. The Lawson family attorney weighing in.
Mr. Zollner and DJ were struggling on the ground, and DJ didn't get up.
Kyle Zollner, the man first charged with the murder, was released by a judge for lack of evidence.
I don't know about everywhere else in the world, but in the state of California, that's enough to hold somebody over for trial.
Now, Josiah's family wants police to revisit their previous persons of interest.
I believe Kyle Zollner is responsible for the murder of my son.
And I don't know why the judge in this case chose not to hold Mr. Zollner over. I think what the judge in this case was doing was holding Mr. Zollner to a different standard than what a normal criminal suspect is held to.
Arcata Mayor Susan Ornelas telling North Coast News the city and police need help with the investigation, and they have a plan.
So we are looking, and we've been advised that maybe getting someone from an investigator who does more homicide investigations from a city police force might be more effective.
Something that Josiah's family is hoping for.
I feel like outside sources is needed. It is a small town, and we welcome any additional help or support that we can use regarding bringing justice for my son.
Mayor Ornelas says the Arcata Police Department will be at Wednesday's City Council meeting to talk about increasing the reward for information leading them to an arrest and talk about bringing in outside investigators to help them push the case forward. Reporting in the studio, Max Rodriguez, North Coast News.
All right, thank you, Max. Now, we did reach out to the Zollner family for their response. So far, we have not heard back.
Just days before the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting, gunfire erupts in Orlando once again.
Coming up on North Coast News, we'll tell you about the suspect and why police are left with more questions than answers.
And another terror attack in England, terrorists using massive vehicles in London. Tonight we're learning more about the arrests. Plus, hope you enjoyed the sun. We've got one more day of it before things are going to change drastically. First Alert meteorologist Rob Elvington has our extended forecast next.